Well, we are well and truly into silly season. Not only has been one of the most prominent by-elections we've ever seen, been against a man and a man with a bin on his head, but now we've got the sycophants and the suck-ups rushing desperately to defend Nigel Farage for the indefensible. Let's get straight into it with this.
Afternoon. Well, Mark, let's go to you first of all. It seems appropriate. You're plainly the nearest thing to reform that we could get under the circumstances. Futile and pointless, or a constructive and rather handsome victory for Mr. Farage? How do you rate it?
Well, it's certainly a very handsome victory. I mean, he's secured more votes in this by-election than he did even at the last general election when he first won the seat.
Very quickly on that, he was against a man with a bin on his head. Let's be very clear about that. And I do a lot of videos on TikTok, and there are a few people in Clacton who have commented on my videos stating they didn't vote because it wasn't a credible person to vote for. They deserve better. And yes, they do. But this is the situation that Nigel Farage put them in.
So what Nigel Farage can point to, quite unambiguously, irrespective of who ran against him or decided not to, is that the good people of Clacton want me to be their representative in the House of Commons. I don't think anybody can doubt that, however surreal the by-election itself was.
But we didn't doubt it, Mark. We knew it. They'd already voted for him.
Well, yeah, but it's now been proven. The Farage would argue that certain stories have come to light since the last general election, not least about him accepting a gift of £5 million, not small money, from Christopher Harborne, and to much of the media, to many of the chattering classes, this was an outrage that might disqualify him from...
Let's be very, very clear about this. It's not the fact that he got 5 million quid. It's the fact that every new MP must abide by the same rule, which is your financial interests for the previous 12 months must be declared. Because of people like this, there are still a huge number of people who don't actually understand what the situation is. Nigel Farage got 5 million quid a few weeks before becoming an MP. Other things have come to light, but he got 5 million quid before becoming an MP, and he didn't declare it. Now, the reason why it should have been declared is that we have to know if an MP has a conflict of interest. It really is that simple. And considering that on the few occasions that he does turn up to Parliament, it is either to vote against workers' rights, to vote against protections for women and children, or to vote in favour of cryptocurrency. And where did his 5 million quid come from? A cryptocurrency billionaire.
Sitting as a member of Parliament. So he decided to go back to his own constituents and ask them. Well, he may be forced to by a regulatory committee, but he gave his constituents the option of saying, how concerned are you about this? You decide. And 63% of the vote decided, nope, we want you, Nigel Farage.
That's an interesting way of framing it. How concerned are you about this? We've already established that a lot of the reform-friendly media are lying or misleading people about what the actual issue is. Because again, I do a lot of videos on TikTok. That is pretty much where I've been the last few years. And the majority of people that I interact with who aren't left-wing don't understand what the actual situation is. And they keep coming back with, well, it's not illegal. Like, no, well, I mean, there are investigations going on right now, but the issue is not if it's legal or not. It's the fact that he didn't tell anyone. And 2 years later, when we find out about the situation, what did he do? That's right. He told journalists who were about to break the story, oh, I've been hacked by the Russians, so you can't tell anyone about this story. I also find fascinating about Reform UK, not necessarily the party or the company masquerading as a party, but the actual supporters themselves, is that Reform UK are showing you, they are showing Reform UK supporters that they have nothing but contempt and disgust, not only for this country, for British values, for British culture, but also for the people who would vote for them. Very recently, we've seen their take on people with disabilities. The fact that they would cut £50 billion from PIP, and that's a lot of people who are in Clacton, not just across the country. That's a lot of people who are in Clacton. People who would have voted for Nigel Farage are going to be negatively affected if they get any real power. That is mind blowing. Nigel Farage's biggest feat this year was that he won a by election that he called against a man with a bin on his head. And then he couldn't even be bothered to turn up. He said that the police had told him there were security concerns and that he shouldn't show up to the vote. The police then came out and said, no, we absolutely categorically did not say this to Nigel Farage. And this is not the first time that Nigel Farage has said that he's been told not to go to a place, only for the relevant authorities to come out and say, we didn't say that.
Be doing physical surgeries in Clacton?
Not yet.
Do you envisage that you will eventually?
When Parliament allows me.
Why is Parliament blocking you?
Have a guess.
Have you been advised for your own security not to hold surgeries?
I would have thought that would make sense, wouldn't you?
Who does that advice come from?
Well, the Speaker's office.
Lindsay Hoyle's office.
And beneath the Speaker's office, there is a security team who give advice and say you should do some things and not do others.
You won't be doing physical.
Listen very carefully to what Nigel is actually saying there. Like, he's not saying, no, the Speaker's office has told me not to do this. He's allowing his buddy, Nick Ferrari, to fill in the blanks. Now, this is part of the reason why I've got such an issue with Nick Ferrari. But Nigel Farage is not really that clever. He's worked out the rhythm to talk to people. He's worked out the niche he can appeal to. But he's not a good liar, which is why in his lie about not turning up to Clacton, he also gave away the truth, which is that he didn't want to share the stage and share oxygen with the people he deems are nobodies. So what he says about not giving face-to-face surgeries.
Physical surgeries in Clacton?
Not yet.
Do you envisage that you will eventually?
When Parliament allows me.
Why is Parliament blocking you?
Parliament have allowed him. He just doesn't want to do it. So this is a question that I kind of need Reform UK supporters to fill in the blanks for, because I've asked and I don't really get actual answers. Reform UK have stated, unless you are wealthy, they are going to make you poorer. They have stated that they want Russians to control British energy. They have stated that they will attack people on disabilities. Richard Tice himself said that because a quadriplegic works in the House of Lords, that there's no excuse for any person with a disability to not be in work. He said this. They have consistently voted against women's rights and women's protections, so too for child protections. They have now announced that they are going to, if they were in power, they would cut £50 billion from PIP. PIP is not an out of work benefit, and a lot of PIP goes to people who have a disability, actually take part in society. If you were to remove that funding, then everything would be so much worse. We have Nigel Farage on camera several times since 2014, several times, stating he wants an insurance-based healthcare system. That's the American model. We have these people banged to rights stating that they would want nothing more than to harm working class and struggling people in this country, which is a huge amount of Reform UK supporters. Why do you still support them?